So that stopped being cool way back.
But the series, though.
I mean, yeah, the series, but oh, you mean the Netflix
The
series?
Netflix series.
Oh, right on. No, yeah, I did. I did just finally see that like last week, and it was great. I thought it was fantastic. It was a fantastic take on it. I wasn't expecting it to be Trevor. But it had a very, very nostalgic feel to it. It definitely like I went and played Castlevania 3 after I watched it. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna play this,
Dope.
and died because it's pretty hard.
I can imagine. So,
um,
as somebody who's played the game and seen the series, would you say the series stand alone, or did you get like a little special enjoyment because you
oh
had
no, like I
previous?
said, it was very nostalgic. I think that they did a great job, sort of creating that same like atmosphere and that same feeling that you got with the games, and they did follow. Obviously you have to embellish on it a little bit. It was a Nintendo game, so there wasn't a lot of story to go on,
Right.
and I think they did a great job on it. There were a few things that they didn't have, like any of the music from
Okay.
Castlevania, so that was a little disappointing. I think they could have,
Right.
but whatever. I like the the depth that they gave Dracula. He's just not the vampire who appears and wants to kill everybody. He has a reason,
Yes,
you know. Um, and he's a dynamic character. Uh, Same thing with Alucard. He has a reason to do what he's doing, not just
right.
because. Um, so I'm interested to see where it goes.
Did you have any standout moments from the Netflix show?
I loved when he took the guy's finger off. That was pretty great. I like the comedy was very, very well, you know,
Well paced.
integrated
Okay.
into the story. I think it worked very well, and they developed a character for Trevor Belmont. In Castlevania 3, he was just the sprite,
Right.
and he's just going after Dracula because that's just what he's got to do. So here they gave him some kind of a personality, and they gave
Right.
him, you know, he really came to life, and I think it was pretty cool. And the anime was really nice and everything. So
Okay. I don't know if it was just because he's a reluctant drunk, but he kind of gave me a Jack Sparrow vibe. I don't know if you felt that.
yeah, I mean, I guess you could take that away from it. It was that kind of thing.
And I definitely loved the bar scene when the guys were first talking trash about him, and he was like, "Oh, let me just just focus on my drink." But once they started talking enough trash, he was like, "You know what? Whatever happens, happens." And he kind of like some people thought it was like unintentional where he let them see he's still, but I feel like he did that on purpose. Like, yo,
I
check me
think he was
out.
just trying to get out of there, and they just saw it.
Possible, but he definitely laid them
Yeah.
out like he knew what he was doing, even when he was
Yeah, I
drunk.
like the progression of his skill because there, they got a few shots in it. By the time he got to the end, he was like kind of back to being
Right.
fully skilled, probably because he was sober and everything.
Definitely because he was sober.
I did see it coming like a mile away though. The whole like underground thing, and they're like, "Oh, there's a savior down there," and I'm like, "Oh, it's Alucard."
Gotcha.
Like I guess that way before. It was kind of obviously gonna be there. And I'll be honest, it was sort of like when you see Mark Hamill at the end of Force Awakens.
Okay.
Like I was waiting the whole time for when Alucard was gonna be introduced because
Right.
I knew it was gonna happen because of that scene that he had with his dad,
Right.
and then it was like it was at the very end, and at least you got some show of his power because Alucard's like fantastic,
Right.
great character. Um, I think Symphony of the Night is probably my favorite Castlevania game, even though Super Castlevania 4 is like a very close second.
Okay.
I guess on the day it could be either one, honestly. But
Do you
but
currently own those games or?
yeah,
Okay, so I need to
oh
play
yeah,
that. I need to catch up.
yeah, you should. Symphony of the Night's a fantastic game. Super Castlevania 4 and Symphony of the Night actually. You're gonna pay for them. They're more costly games these days. I don't know if Super Castlevania 4 is going to be on the Super Nintendo Classic. Speaking of which, apparently Walmart canceled all of pre-orders of the SNES Classic.
Sounds like a lot of people are going to be upset.
They are upset. They were pissed. Walmart says that it was a glitch and it wasn't supposed to go live yet.
So there was a glitch in the Matrix.
Sure. I feel like they got... Because it sold out in like minutes. Like minutes. And I think they saw that and they were like, oh, well, most of those people are going to be scalpers, because that's how Nintendo works these days. Same thing happened with the NES Classic. Mm-hmm. The only people who bought any were fucking scalpers, and then they tried to sell them for $200.
True.
And it's the same thing here. And Walmart's like, hey, maybe we should buy a bunch more from Nintendo and then put all those up on pre-order. Because, you know, they probably only ordered this, you know, a certain amount.
Right.
A certain percentage are going to be pre-order, and the others are going to be released in the store.
Right.
So now they want a higher percentage of pre-order because they know they're going to be able to sell them in minutes like they did before. Right. So they retracted what they had, right? And now they're going to buy more, and then they're going to re-release them on pre-orders, and they're going to sell a whole bunch more than they did before. And they know they'll get the money, and they will get the money because people are going to buy it.
I can see that argument. I can also see the argument for it actually being a mistake, because this could just be my mistake. But when I go for gaming, I don't think of Walmart first. So maybe that's just me. But I could see them being like, because if it was happening to all of the vendors,
this is an item that you're not going to find. You're not going to be able to find this anywhere. You're certainly not going to get it at GameStop. Each GameStop's going to get like 3 of them max. That's how it was with the NES Classic. Toys R Us, you know, the same thing. They don't get a lot of them in. You get like Target and Walmart. That's where people are going to get most of them because they get larger quantities there.
Gotcha.
But you're not going to find it. So it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to be able to go on when they have it and get one. Right. Nobody is, because there's a scalper sitting there waiting to buy 50 of them.
Ooh, got you.
And then he's going to turn around immediately and sell the pre-orders to people for hundreds of dollars. For an item that cost him $60 or $70. It's the exact same thing that happened with the NES Classic, and it's the same thing that tried to happen with the Switch. The problem with the Switch is the Switch was a $300 item. So you already had less people who are going to be able to kind of afford that.
Right.
And then they turn around and they want to sell it for $500, whatever. And, you know, the only thing to buy it for still, really, is Zelda. And not as many people were on board with that. So we still have all these scalpers who are still trying to get $500 out of these Switches. But you can find them now. You know, I see them at Walmart and Target all the time around here. So they really screwed their own selves over. Something like the NES Classic and the Super Nintendo Classic is, you know, they're cheaper, right? So a person's not going to have that big of a deal paying $100 for something that costs $70 anyway. Right. They'll pay that extra $30 and just be happy with it. They're not going to pay another $200 for a console.
Right.
No way.
Okay. So what you're saying is I need to save up, become a scalper, and then start making these turnarounds.
You know, the scalpers are pieces of shit. Seriously. I can't... The same thing happened with Amiibos and stuff, you know? They bought up all the Amiibos immediately. Like, when they were being, like, released, like, first... The Majora's Mask one, specifically. I remember hearing about it, and like 20 minutes had gone by since Best Buy had put them up, and I rushed down there, and they were gone already. Every single one of them. I got so angry. I made posts about it and stuff. So stupid. Because you know there's like 1 or 2 people who are buying all of them that they have. And then they're going to turn around and try to sell them for $70 or $80. I got lucky that I got there when they had like more pre-orders come in, which I didn't know was going to happen, and I did get a couple of them. Which, by the way, I should plug. Subscribe now, because we do have extra Amiibos that we're going to be giving away throughout the month. So if you're a subscriber, you're going to be in that pool that we pull those names out of, and if you get one, you get a Amiibo. One of them's the Majora's Mask one. I think that's the first one we're gonna give away.
Nice.
So you can't beat that. I don't think they're going for $100 on eBay, but they're still tough to find. They're not out in the store. So subscribe.
Subscribe.
For real. So where were we? Oh, you know what? I finally saw Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, okay. What was your
I've been trying to see it for so long, but then I got sick, and then I was at the convention, and then there's just so much stuff that got in the way, and I saw it, and it was fucking amazing. Great movie. Fantastic movie. I love pretty much everything about it.
Is that your favorite Peter Parker so far? Tom Holland?
Yes. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, because I think he embodies them a little bit better, too.
Which aspects would you say?
Well, you know, his wit.
Okay.
Like, Tobey had none of it, right? Spider-Man was kind of bland with Tobey Maguire. The other guy had a little bit, but then, you know, then they did, like, the second one, and
yeah.
Jamie Foxx was blue or something, and he's supposed to be Electro.
Supposed to be.
That was bad. That was rough. That got bad real quick. The only thing I guess I could be upset about is I know that Venom's getting his own movie, and it's not really going to be related with Spider-Man at all.
Which is weird.
So I don't even know if they're going to even mention him, but it's kind of like, I get it that, okay, his origin can already be in the back, right? Yeah. We can just be starting off from this point, moving forward.
Right.
But you got to acknowledge something somewhere along the line. I'm excited that Carnage is going to be in it, because that's all we really want anyway. It's going to be R-rated, and I'm like, well, it has to be if Carnage is going to be.
Right.
It's going to be tearing people to pieces. And it's, the only thing I can say about it is it's got to be better than Hope for Grace. It's got to be better than that.
Yeah.
So, whatever happens in it, that's fine.
How'd you feel about the tech in the suit? Because I heard it's very
you know what?
divisive amongst fans.
You know what? I think that it would make sense. You know, I think it's a good like addition to it. Like, it just makes more sense that these things like are there to help him along.
Right.
He wouldn't just automatically be able to do all this stuff.
Right.
I think like the different kinds of web and stuff, that makes sense.
I definitely was up for the suit. What I don't like is when people say we don't want the same thing, and then they give you something new, and they're like, okay, why didn't you do the same thing?
Yeah, no,
that's super weird to me.
Yeah.
So I was up for the new advances, that I took them as they came, and I thought they incorporated it great. It does make sense. You're in the world of Iron Man,
yeah, and
if he's your mentor, he's gonna look out for you. And then Peter Parker incorporated what he could, and I like that.
Yeah.
I like the voice in his head because he's a bit more comic booky.
The Karen character.
The Karen character.
Character was kind of funny to me, because immediately the first thing I thought of was SpongeBob.
Why do you think of SpongeBob?
Well, because Plankton's wife, Karen, the computer wife. that's where my head went when I heard that. I was just like,
they're crossing brands.
That's funny.
You heard it here first. We confirmed SpongeBob is going to be in the next Spider-Man movie.
That's it, right?
Plankton is the next villain.
Oh man, it was a really good movie, I think. But where's it go from here? He's going to be in Infinity War. That's cool. I don't know, like the MJ thing. Like, I don't know that it's necessary. I mean, Harry Osborn's not in the movie, right? He's not there. He's a non-existing character. And people are like, oh, it should be Mary Jane, it should be this, it should be that. I don't care.
Not really.
He doesn't need a Mary Jane, specifically, and you know, this person isn't Mary Jane, but she's MJ. So she's this version. You don't need a Gwen Stacy. You don't need something. It's like, just, they're trying something different.
Yeah, they're not getting super serious.
So,
he doesn't need to jump in a movie with a girlfriend.
I think that the twist with like the girl that he likes, Dad, turned out to be, you know,
the villain,
the Vulture, and whatever. That was kind of cool. That worked out well. I think they did it very well. Tom
Holland does Nervous really well.
Yeah. And, you know, Michael Keaton, he can't do anything wrong, honestly. he's fantastic.
I love the filmography.
I like that they gave more depth to the Vulture, because really in the comic books, like, he never really had in my opinion, he never really had much purpose to do it. Like, he didn't have any motivation. He was always just like, oh, I'm going to rob this bank or something just because I want money. And he wants money, but he wants money for a reason. So,
Right.
at least they gave him a little bit more to work with. The other villains that they kind of shoved into the thing, that was a little much. You had the Shocker, who basically just came right out and was like, I'm the Shocker. And then you had another guy who's like, I'm the Shocker. It's like, okay, great. Calm down. We get it. You're the Shocker. And then you had like the Scorpion at the end. I didn't even know who that was. I don't think they even said his name at all in the movie other than like at the very end. When he meets him in the prism.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's the Scorpion. All right. I didn't get that before.
Yeah, no, I didn't know this until the end of the movie.
I think Flash is cool. I think their interpretation of Flash Thompson is pretty great.
Yeah, we didn't need another roided out Chalk.
No, we didn't need that.
In their 30s, pretending to be a high schooler.
Right. Jesus. No, it worked out pretty well.
It's kind of crazy. I rewatched the first Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi one. I'm like, everybody here is in their 30s. How did anybody believe this was a high schooler? This is crazy.
Yeah.
But I definitely like the Tom Holland Spider-Man. Everybody there looked like they fit in. And they even had like the kids' school news, and then it was like really poorly edited and everything. I was like, yeah, that was high school. That was my high school. That was definitely awesome.
Yeah.
So, I like the feats of strength throughout the movie, not just the big action scenes, but simple him lifting up the locker to get his web fluid and his backpack and stuff.
Yeah.
And things like
Some
that.
of them were inconsistent. When he was trapped under all the rubble, that thing wasn't that much bigger than a row of lockers.
True.
But he somehow had a problem picking it up.
I feel like it was more like a mental thing.
Yeah.
Like how in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, Peter Parker lost his powers.
I do like that the film was very aware of itself in the script. After everything happened and he sees Tony, and Tony's like, yeah, didn't I give you what you needed so that you could get... Basically saying, oh, yeah, wasn't the script formatted exactly how it should be for any movie? Essentially, being self-aware. I like that. That's fun. Yeah. And I like that we got to see the Iron Spider suit before we're going to see it. Obviously, we know he's going to put it on during Infinity War somewhere along the line, and that's all going to happen. But it was just nice to see that first, and he's like, oh, no, I'm just going to be Spider-Man. Well, we all know what's coming. Which they have a good dynamic, the two of them, I think.
Definitely.
I'm interested to see, how they're going to work together with, like, Chris Pratt's Star-Lord once he gets introduced for Infinity War.
It's going to be a quip war.
It's going to be something. It's going to be hopefully great. Hopefully pretty great.
In Marvel, we trust.
And isn't there a Spider-Man game coming out or something?
Yeah, they have a Spider-Man game coming out for the PS4.
Uh-huh.
I saw the gameplay. It looks super dope. I don't mind that it's a white spider, a weird white spider going down the suit. I thought it was cool.
White?
Yeah, so a white spider emblem. It's like as big as the Venom spider, but it's like on the regular color scheme costume. You didn't notice it?
No. I'll have to look at that trailer again.
Yeah,
that might be something. That might be like an alternative costume because he's got so many costumes.
Yeah, it's definitely an alternative costume. But I thought the gameplay was cool. It was crisp. It looked like it's an open world as well. And
I think Spider-Man makes for great like sort of open world. I remember Ultimate Spider-Man. There was always like a burning building or people were trapped or something, and as you're just going through, just swinging around New York. And you stop and they'll be like, oh, something's happened. Somebody's getting robbed. And that kind of thing is like ongoing sort of like, perfect for Spider-Man.
Definitely.
Always something to do.
Yeah, so it's like side quests and all that. So I definitely look forward to it. Looking at the gameplay, I can't wait. What did you think? Yeah,
it looks fun. So that's another game I'm going to put that's on my radar for the PS4. But like most things, I'm going to wait, not going to get it on release. I learned that lesson already, so don't get it on release. Like Zelda, I'm comfortable getting on release because Zelda's my favorite franchise ever, so I'm going to buy the Zelda game no matter what. So I'm going to buy it anyway, so I'll get it on release when it comes out. Right. When it comes to something like that, I'll wait, see what people have to say, because sometimes, things are not as great as what everybody thinks. Right. No Man's Sky or something. And I got duped on, Star Wars Battlefront. Everybody's like, oh, it's so great, and it looks great. It does. And it plays all right, but there's not much to do in it. You go play online with friends, and of course, it was like $20 like 2 weeks after it came out. So of course I spent like the $60 and everything. I was like, well, I wasted my time.
That sucks.
And I know Battlefront 2's coming out, but I don't trust it. I can't do it. They messed up the last time, and I don't believe them this time.
Yeah.
How do you mess up a franchise that was already great, before, 10 years before, when you had it? Like, the original two Battlefronts were fantastic games. So, why not update the graphics? Obviously put out the online play and all that stuff.
Right.
But kind of keep it similar. Have the campaign mode, for fuck's sake. Be able to play 2 players and at the same time in your house. What's happening to that? Everybody wants to sit at their own house and play games.
Right.
So crazy. So I play retro games. So I do it. Anyway, looks like we're just about out of time here. So thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you at the next one.
Much appreciated. Again, subscribe.